Welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. He's Rogers, I'm Patrick, and in the vein of trying to spread some positivity, we go to a good friend, and much like Rogers is the human laugh track, Grant Boone is just a ray of sunshine, a beacon of joy out there in the plains of West Texas. And he joins us now to talk about his charity fundraising efforts and I guess maybe surviving what he went through. Grant, how the heck are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Who can it be now? It's me, but I am not one of the men at work. So that's actually why I did this fundraiser in the first place.
So you have, and I told everyone earlier, you've been putting your mouth where your money is, basically. Not only donating to the cause, but you've been out delivering meals. It's something you've done for a while now. Tell me how you kind of got into the Meals on Wheels and how you got involved with those folks.
Yeah, so I live here in Abilene, Texas. 120,000 people out here in the big country, as they call it, a couple hours on I-20 west of Fort Worth. And I've lived here for the last 20 years. Went to college here. Met my wife here. We've raised our family here. And when the pandemic hit, you and I were down in Katy, Texas for the Southland Conference basketball tournament. And so we went to our, respective corners after that. And then everything started getting canceled. And, realizing this was going to be a while and realizing that all the college sports were going to be canceled for the rest of the spring semester. And then once it became obvious that the golf tournaments were going to be, at the very least, postponed, if not canceled, I realized I had, a few months before I was going to be doing anything else. And so Meals on Wheels, which is it's a national initiative, even though each area that has it, it's run independently on the local level, but there is this loose national affiliation. I've known about it my whole life. My mom used to deliver Meals on Wheels when I was growing up. And so my father-in-law, who's been delivering at least once a week for the last 30-some-odd years, he's now a retired chairman of the biology department at Abilene Christian. I'd go with him from time to time, and then whenever I was home for an extended period, I'd volunteer as a driver, periodically. And so once I realized everything was canceled, I just said, give me as many routes as you want to give me, as many days as you want to give me. And so they gave me Route 11, which is over by ACU on the north side of Abilene, and I do it Tuesday through Friday. And, it's think about this. You talk about being positive, Patrick, today. There are very few things. I don't know if you've noticed this. People disagree about a lot these days. Breaking news on the Patrick Netherton show.
Yes, thank you.
And I thought, boy, there's not much you can get people to agree on, and most everybody has a pretty good feeling about the idea of Meals on Wheels. It is a kind of a lean, mean nonprofit machine. They don't have a lot of overhead, a huge amount of expenditure for extra stuff. It's just getting hot meals, 5 days a week to people who are either senior citizens or people who are compromised in some other way, health-wise, and can't and have trouble preparing their own meals. And so it's just the kind of organization that I feel like, it has a chance to get some traction right now in a time where people can't seem to agree on whether the sky's blue or not.
Yeah, and it's also, I think everyone can kind of agree, hey, giving food to people who can't get food for themselves that's a noble cause. I don't think anybody's going to disagree that's not a really good thing to be doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
Like you said, it can be a bit of a uniter. So my question then is, you kind of went on a little bit of a fundraiser. I know that there was I believe a television story was done about you being on this beat and doing Meals on Wheels. Hey, Abilene Christian announcer, golf announcer for CBS and the Golf Channel. He's out here, giving back to the community, that kind of thing. It's always a story that people like and enjoy.
Sure.
And so you were kind of raising money on the side. You were telling people, hey, give me, here's my Venmo, here's PayPal, whatever. Send some money my way. I'll make sure it gets to the Meals on Wheels folks. But what then led from that to, hey, let's play 100 holes of golf in basically in the Devil's Canyon at this point when it's 187 degrees? Yeah,
you're basically playing in a gas station chimichanga heat lamp.
Yeah,
it's just brutal. It actually, when I was saying Venmo me the money, that was all for the fundraiser.
Right.
So that was yeah. So what happened was 20 years ago when I was living in Atlanta, I played in a golf marathon, they called it back then. And it was for a local nonprofit, and there were probably 30 or 40 of us who were participating. And the idea was just you get people to pledge money to, per hole. And if you play 50 holes, if you play 100, whatever, then people give you that amount, times however many holes you played. Well, Meals on Wheels Plus, as it's known here in Abilene, had their main fundraising event of the calendar year canceled, which is the golf tournament out at Diamondback National, which was built and founded by and run by Charles Cootie, won the 1971 Masters. So next year's his 50th anniversary of winning the Masters. He's a West Texas guy, and their annual fundraising golf tournament makes them about $40,000. You imagine a $40,000 hit for a nonprofit. It is just, and so many nonprofits around the country have had similar stories. It's just crippling. These are salt of the earth people, or you can do no salt if you prefer. They have the low sodium option.
Right.
But the idea is, that suddenly they're $40,000 in the hole, and there were some of the corporations went ahead and pitched in as if they were having the tournament, but I just got this idea. What if I tried to do my own version of a fundraising tournament? And I remembered that event I did back in Atlanta 20 years ago. I was a little younger then. I realized on about my 50th hole on Monday, but I started putting the word out there, and I'm telling you, I wish I would, you don't know. You're kind of doing this a little bit on the fly. I mean,
sure.
I wish I would have gone to some corporations maybe and asked them to pitch in, but I basically just threw it out there on my social media and with other friends and you and people like Trey Wingo of ESPN and lots of my Golf Channel colleagues and CBS colleagues. They started pitching in, and you were one of the very first from out of, who don't even live in the city who pitched in. And I was so appreciative of that. I mean, it's money you'll never see, but the benefits of, but you believed it was the kind of thing that was worth it. And so you did it. And so we got a lot of momentum going. And I had tried to find the right date. And we my
story
wife
of
and I
my
were
life,
talking
Grant, trying to find the right date. You don't know the story of my life right there, but yes, thank you. Thank you.
But seriously, where are you folks from?
Yeah.
And so we settled on Monday, July 13th, and Meals on Wheels was on board with it, and they publicized it. And I got the reporter, the Abilene Reporter News, one of their columnists to do a piece on to kind of promote it, and then we started looking at the forecast, and we got this warning on my weather app that said excessive heat warning. If at all possible, don't go outdoors on Monday.
Well, sure, easy.
Okay, how about for 9 hours?
Yeah,
just for 9 hours, and avoid strenuous activity. And the way I swing sometimes looks far more strenuous than I wish it would.
Right.
But we went ahead and did it. We had a good plan, and I did take the warning seriously, and I didn't want to make light of that because those things are very serious, and you got to be careful. But I did consult with not only my personal doctor but my sister-in-law, who's a nurse practitioner. We came up with a really good plan, and it centered kind of on getting out as early as possible. And, knocking out as many of the holes early. So I got out there 7:30. It was gorgeous, about 75 degrees.
Please tell me you use the term dew sweeper.
I was the pin putter inner. There weren't even pins in the holes.
Oh, I love it.
They
just gave you 18 pins and said, "Hey, put them in the holes as you get there."
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, earn your keep while you're out here. In fact, the first tee time that Diamondback allows each morning is 8 a.m. and there's one group that has that every single Monday morning. They were a bit kind of peeved that somebody was going out ahead of them. But so I flew around there, and I'm telling you, Abilene doesn't have a lot of humidity, and so we're blessed in that regard. And so by the time it got to be about 11 o'clock, when the temperature was beginning to rise, I'd already knocked out, 45, 50 holes.
There you go.
And then by the time 1:30 rolled around, it was already mid-90s, but it wasn't stifling. And by 1:30, I had 80 of the 100 holes done, and I was like, at this point, I can take a long break, which was good because it was just beginning to get just ridiculously hot at that point. And then my son came out. He's 21 years old and just bombs it, and he's a senior at ASU accounting major. And I thought I need an accounting major to make sure I've got the number of holes
to add all
counted
these
up correctly.
to add your strokes up.
Well, I didn't keep score in that regard. I kept track of birdies, and I did have 3 doubles in 100 holes.
That's not bad.
That kind of ticked me off. But I really hit the ball, believe it or not. I mean, my next to last 9 holes, I shot 1 under.
Oh.
I mean, it was really kind of amazing how that 2-hour break kind of refreshed me. And it helped that I had some barbecue in the shed in Abilene.
We were talking about that.
Haunts.
Yeah. We were actually talking about that. I was telling Hambone that,
Wait a minute. Are you saying you were talking about barbecue?
I was, as a matter of fact. First time.
No way.
First time on the Patrick Netherton show. We were discussing. I said, the cool thing is he's out here playing all these holes of golf, and then somewhere in the middle, he just takes a lunch break, and they appear with a dang giant platter of brisket.
Oh my gosh! And it was I don't know that they've. Of course, part of it is you'd think that a fried apple pie from McDonald's was heavenly if you hadn't eaten anything in a day.
Sure.
But there was something about that particular pan of brisket they brought. I've never tasted anything better. I've still got part of it in the fridge. Just had some today, as a matter of fact, on the nachos. Nice. And so that gave me the little lift. I took about a 2-hour break and finished up. At about 6:45, my son and I we kind of played a leisurely 18. We didn't even have to rush, so we played it about 2.5 hours. Finished up about 6:45 p.m. And so not quite 12 hours, 11 and a half hours or so, or just a little over 11 hours, I guess.
Nothing wrong with that.
Boy, it's a crazy thought, 100 holes, but I wasn't running, I wasn't like, sprinting from shot to shot. I had a cart, and I usually walk, and so a cart for me felt like I was almost cheating. And so I'm just flying from hole to hole, and I actually was getting yardages with my rangefinder, and so I wasn't.
You weren't just pulling out the 7-iron and hitting every shot.
It wasn't polo,
right?
Where I'm whacking the ball as I'm going by. And in reality, you think about it, what's the best way to get in as many holes as possible? It's to hit as many good shots as possible.
Sure.
So I invested the time to at least get the correct yardage, and I tried to do a little social media a few times, but once I put the phone down and just started playing, I was playing holes in 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, and it was fortunate that there weren't a ton of people out there that day because it was so hot they didn't have a ton of traffic.
Right.
And so what I would do is if I hit a pocket of 2 or 3 groups in a row, I'd go around them and I'd find an empty stretch of holes and I would just play those. So I didn't go sequentially, 1 through 18, 5.5 times. I just found wherever the empty holes were and just played as many as I could before somebody, before I ran into anybody. So it was a bit of zigzagging. I kind of needed the Benny Hill theme song
Right.
playing for part of it. But man, it was really cool. And then just to, we must have raised over $1,000 just on that Monday from people seeing it who hadn't heard about it at the time. And so as of now, we've already collected more than $10,000 in cash and checks. And there's another couple thousand out there in pledges. And I'm telling you, you do this and you wonder what it's going to be like. And you figure worse. I really thought we could raise 1,000. We could do it. Somebody will chip in. We'll get up to 1,000, and that's $1,000 they don't have currently.
Sure.
And
what? All right. Well, I guess we lost him. All right. You want to call him? Yeah, call him back, Rogers. See, that was interesting. How did he? I was just saying, did he fall off a mountain or something? I don't know what the heck happened. My boy Grant Boone just disappeared. Talking about zigzagging all over the course, and I was about to call him a cheater for zigzagging all over the course. You got to play those holes sequentially, or else doesn't really count. So we are talking to Grant Boone, who I guess his cell phone must have played 100 holes of golf and just decided to give out. I don't know. He may also be trying to call us back. I don't know.
That's okay.
Oh, all right. All right, we got him back. Apparently the phone more exhausted than Grant after playing the 100 holes.
You know what? I sank into just an involuntary nap, I think. I just dozed off.
I mean, look, I've been dozing off the entire interview.
All thing was, I was hoping to raise 1,000, and then it got to a couple thousand, then 3, and then 5, and 7, and then over 10, and it just kind of. I told my wife I don't think people need much of an excuse to give.
Sure.
I think people are looking for good things to give to, and it doesn't take a ton. It's $20 here, it's $50 there, $100 there. The largest gift was 1,000, and most of it was, 100 or less. And it was as few as $5, which was awesome. Somebody gave 13, which I'm sure meant something to them.
Right.
And it didn't matter. It was cool. I think I counted 134 different people donated, which I thought was neat. And it's still coming in. So what I've told people, like I was on a radio station in Dallas, they had me on, and I'm doing one in Lubbock on Saturday. And I am so touched and appreciative of people like you who donated to something that's not even in your town. But as much as we're working on the local level to get people in Abilene to contribute to Meals on Wheels Plus here, Meals on Wheels is all over the country, including there in Shreveport.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the coolest things people could do listening to this is, as much as the Abilene chapter would love your gift, it would be to find the Meals on Wheels in your area and either volunteer as a driver. They almost always need drivers, if nothing else, as a sub when people can't do it. I'm about to go back on the road and do golf again, and so I'm going to have to give up my route, on a regular basis, but I'll keep subbing. And then you can donate locally, and I sent you a link earlier of a place where people can go there in Shreveport.
Yes, the Caddo Council on Aging is who handles the local Meals on Wheels. We are talking to Grant Boone. Grant, I didn't realize you were cheating for charity by skipping holes. If I had known that, I would have rescinded my gift. Because that's
how is it cheating?
Nah, you can't. You got to go sequential, man. It's got to be 100 holes in a row, 1 through 18. Otherwise,
is there a 100-hole challenge handbook that I was not?
Yes, I have
forwarded?
the handbook actually. I
will tell you this. I was very, when I did it 20 years ago, there some of the people had done that kind of an event before, and they said, hey, on a par 3, just hit 3 balls and putt them all out. And
count it as 3?
That'll knock out 3.
Yeah.
I didn't feel great about that, so I didn't do that here. And even on the holes where I made double, I went ahead and putted out and finished every hole. I mean, if it was a literal within a few inches, I would grab it up and head to the next hole. But I putted everything out, and I played the full 100, and I felt like that was, the whole thing is a gimmick, obviously.
Sure.
You're trying to get people to give, and you're playing 100 holes, which is crazy in that heat. But I did want to try to have as much challenge integrity as possible, so I went ahead and putted out everything. And boy, a few people, pledged little bonuses for every birdie. And that's what I really regret. I only made 5 birdies out of 100 holes, which is just not nearly as many as I had wanted to. And I just felt kind of like I left so many donations on the table by not, and part of it is you're trying to hustle. And so you're in that mode of knocking holes out as quickly as possible. And if I had to do over, knowing I was going to make it so easily in terms of the number of holes, I might have taken an extra look at the birdie putts. I had a bunch from 5 to 15 feet that lipped out or burned the edge or whatever, and I just thought, man, I would have taken an extra look just because it was probably $100 for every birdie that I made, and that was kind of a bummer.
I will say this: you are of all the people I know that golf, you are the most anti-Bryson DeChambeau that I know. Not in that you dislike Bryson DeChambeau, but you and he are built completely differently. He is.
I tried to channel my inner Bryson by, just
swinging as hard as you
brisket.
could. Oh, the brisket.
Hoping I would hit the ball farther. Instead, I just got bloated.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave me the sleepies, actually.
Yeah.
So it did. Maybe I needed a few more protein shakes.
You about 6 of them a day, I think, is what he's at. Speaking of, you mentioned golf. That's kind of the only sport that I'm really interested in that's back playing. You mentioned you're going to get back out on the road and do a little bit of golf. Tell me about that. What are kind of the precautions? Where are you going? How are they handling things? I know at least on the PGA Tour with your colleagues at CBS, you're getting Nance and Dottie and Amanda Balionis on the course, and pretty much everyone else is off somewhere else. I think Immelman is there, but then Faldo's in Orlando, Nobelo's in Orlando. Tell me about what's going on with your resumption of golf broadcasting.
Well, I mostly, as you know, the last 2 or 3 years I've been doing LPGA coverage, and the LPGA and the PGA Tour are their business models, their revenue streams are so different.
Yeah.
The PGA Tour makes so much money from their television contract that for them to play without fans is certainly not ideal, not what they want, but they make so much money from being on TV from their network partners.
Yeah.
The LPGA doesn't. The LPGA makes about $1 million a year in TV rights, and so their local tournaments have to have fans because they play 3 different pro-ams during the week, and they have, the corporate hospitality, the ticket sales. Those tournaments need fans on the ground to really make it, and so that's why they haven't returned. Well, they were scheduled to return at the end of July with the Marathon Classic up in Toledo, Ohio, where they have had a great tournament for 35, almost 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so what the PGA Tour has done with back-to-back weeks at Muirfield Village, this week being the second of the 2, the LPGA has done the same thing. They created a tournament from scratch, a 3-day event. It's going to be played at Inverness in Toledo.
Sure.
Where Paul Azinger won a PGA championship and Bob Tway broke Greg Norman's heart. Actually, Paul Azinger beat Greg Norman there, too. So,
at this point, who hasn't broken Greg Norman's heart in a tournament?
Right. Yeah. In fact, he was trying to play 100 holes Monday and only got to 99, had to stop.
Oh, there you go.
That had to hurt when he saw that I was getting all the publicity.
Oh, hey.
I can't wait to see his next half nude or fully nude Instagram post.
Well, I will say this, Grant. If anyone would benefit from playing fewer holes at the end, it would be Greg Norman.
Boy, that's a great point.
Yeah.
What if golf was? What if a tournament was 71 holes? How many majors would he have?
He'd have been a champion so many times.
Well, anyway, so the LPGA is going to play a 3-day event at Inverness the Solheim Cup is going to be there next year. That's the LPGA's Ryder Cup, and so they'll get a sneak preview of that, and that'll be a 3-day event, the 31st of July, and then the 1st and 2nd of August. And then the very next week, right there in Toledo over to Highland Meadows, they'll have the Marathon Classic. That's a 4-day event. So I'll do both of those events. I'll go up there and stay for those 10 or 11 days in a row, and then they'll take about 3 weeks off and come back. Actually, they go to Scotland for the Women's British Open and the Scottish Open, but none of us from the States are going to go over and do that one. They'll have a European Tour crew that will do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll come back to the Walmart in Arkansas, in Rogers, Arkansas.
Correct.
And hey boy. And so that'll be late August. I'll do that one. And in fact, here's a fun fact. In fact, we might need to reconnect that week because my beautiful colleague, Judy Rankin, Hall of Fame member from Midland, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Midland's about 2 hours west of Abilene. She's going to drive to Abilene, and then the two of us are going to drive to Arkansas.
Oh.
And you having driven all over the Southwest,
yeah.
Southland Conference, Northwestern State sporting events, you can envision that drive. It'll be 7 or 8 hours. But it'll keep us off airplanes, and that'll make Judy feel a little better.
Sure.
Look,
if I had the option to drive 8 hours or get on a plane, I'd drive too.
Especially if Judy Rankin's riding shotgun.
Well, sure.
I mean, come on. We might stop and play 100 holes.
Hey,
somewhere, but probably not.
Yeah. Well,
but,
if nothing else, you can.
Anyway,
I can give you.
That'll be. Yeah.
I say I can give you good recommendations on food along the way as well. So.
Well,
there's always
of
that.
Of course, and probably, cell phone numbers of all the maitre d's or chefs, or both.
And by the way, while you're in Fayetteville, you have to go visit Wright's Barbecue. And my pal Jordan Wright, I will get y'all hooked up together because Jordan is good people and he's doing terrific Texas style barbecue in Arkansas.
I like him already.
Mm-hmm.
So the LPGA has, unlike the PGA Tour, the LPGA postponed most of their tournaments. They have canceled a few, but they postponed a bunch, and so I'm going to have some conflicts coming up in the fall if indeed we have college football.
Yeah.
I'll have some conflicts with ACU football and the LPGA, but. This is such an unusual circumstance that these are the least of the issues, and I hope that football is back, but if not, I hope that at least golf can still be played, and it's been really fun to be able to play golf a lot this summer, especially with my son who's here in town and about to start his senior year at ACU. So golf is one of those few things that even in the deepest throes of the pandemic, it was still one of those rare approved activities.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can socially distance well. It sounds like you socially distance yourself from a lot of birdies. So congratulations on that.
Thanks for rubbing it in.
You're
just
welcome.
like a good barbecue.
That's right. A nice barbecue rub.
You got to have a rub.
Look, it's wonderful. We're gonna put up the link to the Meals on Wheels in Shreveport. We'll do that this evening.
Please do. I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, we'll put that up so people can donate if they want. Grant Boone, the man, the myth, the legend. Hey, you're the man. You just played 100. I haven't even touched my sticks yet this year, and you played 100 holes of golf on Monday. You're at least.
What's your problem?
I don't know. I just hadn't been out and played.
Yeah.
I got no excuses other than I've just been lazy. So,
in all seriousness, what I hope this does more than anything is maybe it just inspires you and others to think of something creative. All of these nonprofits in Shreveport and Abilene and elsewhere, man, they're all hurting, and I know a lot of us are too. I haven't worked in a few months, and fortunately, we've socked a little bit away. And my wife still has her job, so we've been okay on that front. A lot of people are hurting financially, but the nonprofits that do, they're so important to our communities, and so many of them are hurting. And maybe you and your listeners can come up with some cool way to help out, folks there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know that I can play 100 holes of golf, but I'm sure we can figure out. Maybe I'll eat 100 briskets and see.
Hey, that
100
would be
ribs.
Quite the sacrifice.
I'll eat 100 ribs. We'll see if. Yeah, I used to do that actually when Tony Roma's.
It normally takes you like 2 meals.
Yeah, Tony Roma's used to have an all-you-can-eat, an endless slab Mondays, and I would just go sit down and destroy them. I'm pretty sure that's why they're out of business now.
Well, yeah, and it's a good reminder that all you can eat is not a dare.
Right.
It's merely a descriptor.
It's also not a wise choice when I walk through the door. They should close the all you can eat when I walk in.
As the old Russian comedian Yakov Smirnoff used to say, in my country we have all you can eat. They give you one head of lettuce and say that's all you can eat.
There you go.
So they may need to do that to you next time you're there.
Maybe so. Grant, always good to talk to you, my friend.
We got Yakov Smirnoff on the show.
Hey,
so that's
I was going to go
with
with
a good hit.
I was going to go with John Panette and his old Chinese buffet routine. But I'm not sure that I can get away with it in today's day and age.
I don't know that you can either.
Yeah,
this is probably a good time to stop.
Yeah, we're not going. I promise we're not. A lot of times I step over the line, but I'm not stepping over the line today. Grant, you're the best, man. Safe travels everywhere you're going, and calling all the golf tournaments. Look forward to catching up with you soon, man.
Give my best to Pepito.
I will. Hey, come in town. We're waiting on you. Hey, if you want to take the long way to Fayetteville, you can come through Shreveport.
I may do it. Don't tempt me.
It's all interstate. That's all I'm saying. So,
all right, buddy.
All right, brother. Grant Boone, CBS Sports, Golf Channel,